found in memory of his mother Muppamba in Warangal Fort. Lake of Ganpur. Now we have reached Ganapasamudram. The Emperor Ganapati Deva built a lake on the name of his eldest daughter Ganapamba at this place, which looked like a sea of water. Hence, it was named Ganpur Lake. He had founded a town here and named it on the name of his eldest daughter, known popularly as Ganpur. This town is famous for a series of temples which are surrounded by mud fencing and hence known as Kotagullu. This series of temples was built between 1235 and 1255 AD. Now we are at Palampet, which is 65 kilometers away from Warangal city. The world-famous temple and an epitome of art and sculptural beauty located in this village called Palampet. It is none other but the Ramappa temple. The construction of this temple was supervised by Recharla Rudra, the military commander on the wish and will of Ganapati Deva in 1213 AD. The temple was named after the chief sculptor called Ramappa. The inscription in the temple premises was laid by Recharla Rudra. The speciality of Recharla Rudra is that he was the commander-in-chief of Kakatiya forces during Rudradeva's last days, Mahadeva Raja's period, and finally during Ganapati Deva's tenure. The walls and pillars of Ramappa temple consist of various dance postures like Perni Shivatandavam based on Nritya Ratnakaram written by Jayappa, the chief of Elephant Regiment of Kakatiya forces. The Ramappa lake was built by Ganapati Deva in 1213 AD. The bund of this lake is 2 kilometers long, height is 56 feet, depth is 35 feet, and the total cultivated area is 4,350 acres. This lake has 4 canals. The Laknavaram lake is one of the biggest lakes built by Kakatiyas. It was built by Ganapati Deva. This lake reflects the golden age of Kakatiya rule, which gave top priority to agriculture. It also speaks of the volumes of technological achievements of Kakatiya engineers. Pakal Lake. This is the lake at Pakal, which is 47 kilometers away from Warangal city. This lake was built by the military leader of Kakatiya forces, Jagadala Mummadi, in 13th century on the order given by Ganapati Deva, according to an inscription found on the bank of the lake. The catchment area of this lake is 80 square miles. The maximum storage capacity of this lake is 2,452 TMC and the cultivated area is approximately 17,258 acres. Bayaram Lake. This lake is in Bayaram Mandal in Khammam district. It was built by Mailama, sister of Ganapati Deva, on his order in 1220 AD. Ganapati Deva had built many tanks which were like a chain throughout his kingdom. This is Motupalli. It was a famous port in the olden days. Motupalli was a center for foreign trade in the form of imports and exports. To encourage foreign trade, Emperor Ganapati Deva passed an order to collect nominal taxes from traders and businessmen and gave protection to their goods. In this regard, Ganapati Deva had built a stone inscription. This inscription is historically known as Motupalli stone inscription. Now we are going to see the ruins of Swayambhu Devalaya, about which the Kakatiyas described in their literary works and inscription. The ruins of this temple include 4 gateways on 4 sides which reflect the glory of Kakatiya rule. These gateways are famous as logo on various educational, social, and cultural institutions and organizations. Let us look at the sculptural marvels of this temple and know about a warrior empress Rudramadevi who came to power after Ganapati Deva. Ganapati Deva had no sons to succeed him, so he announced his youngest daughter Rudramadevi as his successor to the throne. Rudramadevi ruled from 1262 to 1289 AD. Rudramadevi proved that a woman is not a frail physical entity but a powerful and equal person whose strength matched with that of a man. Rudramadevi had to fight frequently with the foes, so she could not concentrate on art, literary, and cultural fields. A greater part of her life was spent fighting the wars. Even though she was able to give good administration to the people of her kingdom. Now, we are watching the Malkapuram inscription. This is the tallest inscription by Kakatiyas. Empress Rudramadevi had built this inscription, which stands as a sentinel for her able administration. This inscription is at Malkapuram near Mangalagiri in Guntur district. Rudramadevi was a great warrior and led her forces with ability and strength. The vassal kings of Kakatiya kingdom did not like a woman ascending the throne. One day, when Rudramadevi was performing puja of Ekavira Devi, her favorite goddess, Rudrama's chieftains attacked her. Now we are at Ekavira temple in Maglicharla near Warangal fort. Rudramadevi used to come to this temple to worship goddess Ekavira Devi through an underground tunnel with her bodyguards. On one occasion when Rudrama was performing puja in the Ekavira temple, her kinsmen Harihara and Muradeva took control of the fort, closed the gate, giant doors, and attempted to end her at the temple. Rudramadevi sensed this attack on her life and heroically suppressed the attempt and reached Warangal fort along with her daughter Mummadamma through the secret underground tunnel. Rudramadevi immediately after reaching the fort alerted her followers and killed Harihara and Murarideva. After some time, Mahadevaraja, the powerful Yadava king of Devagiri, decided to invade Kakatiya kingdom with a huge army between 1265 and 1267 AD. Rudramadevi got alerted and led her forces from the front of the war and killed the enemy forces like Bhadrakali. The war took place for 15 days and Mahadevaraja lost 80% of his forces and he started going back to his kingdom. But Rudramadevi chased the opponent forces and captured Bidar from the Yadava kingdom. At last, the Kakatiya forces reached Devagiri and inflicted a crushing defeat on the opponent forces. As there was no alternative, Mahadevaraja came to terms with Rudramadevi by paying 1 crore gold coins as the war price. Rudramadevi generously spent the amount for the welfare of her military forces and built a victory pillar according to inscription laid by Kakati Senani Sindhu Bhairava, who played an important role in capturing Bidar. We can see an inscription laid by Rudramadevi in Bidar fort even today. As a memory of Devagiri's success, Rudramadevi constructed a festive hall in the Swayambhu Devalaya. It can be seen in Warangal fort amidst the 4 glorious gateways in a ruined state. Rudramadevi's figure was carved on the pillar brackets of this festive hall with a sword and shield in the posture of a great warrior, which symbolizes Raya Gajakesari. To regain Nellore and some places in Kadapa after the defeat of Manamasiddhi, Rudramadevi prepared her military commander Jennigadeva along with Nagaraja to invade Pandya kings and the feudatory of Pandyas, Veera Rajendra. The Kakatiya forces easily defeated Veera Rajendra and the places were annexed to Kakatiya kingdom. Later on, Rudramadevi concentrated on Kalinga region to regain the lost places. She re-established her supremacy by defeating Kalinga Gangaraja in a war that took place on the banks of the river Godavari. The Kalinga and coastal Andhra region once again remained under the control of Kakatiyas till the end of their rule. The details of this war were inscribed on the Draksharamam inscription of 1293 AD. During the beginning of Rudramadevi's rule, Jannigadeva of Kayastha remained more loyal to her. After Jannigadeva, his brother Tripurari became the king of Nandaluru. He ruled this place from 1270 to 1272 AD as a representative of Rudramadevi. Tripurari was succeeded by his younger brother Ambadeva. He was short-tempered and never hesitated to do any bad deed on instigation. He was cruel and overambitious to ascend the throne by revolting against the sovereign empress. Ambadeva became a tool and a puppet in the hands of Mahadeva Raja of Devagiri and Pandyans who wanted to take revenge on the Kakatiyas. Ambadeva, with the help of Pandyans and Mahadeva Raja, wanted to establish his own kingdom by revolting against Rudramadevi. Ambadeva succeeded to make Manumaganda Gopala to sit on the Nellore throne and made him his vassal. Moreover, he chased away Sripati Ganapati from Gurizala, who was loyal to Rudrama. He made Mahadeva Raja to sit on the Gurizala throne. Rudrama was carefully observing Ambadeva's intentions of revolt with the backing of Pandyans and Yadava kings. She decided to take action against Ambadeva by isolating him, keeping in mind that others like Pandyans and Yadavas may interfere in the matter. In fact, she wanted to warn him in a soft way. She had sent her vassal to teach him a lesson, but Ambadeva did not care the vassal and mercilessly killed them and openly expressed his nature of revolt. Rudramadevi decided to take on Ambadeva, who became a threat to the Kakatiya Empire. At the age of 80, she gave the reins of power to her son and the young prince Prataparudra and took on Ambadeva at Tripurantakam in 1289 AD without caring her old age. In this war against Ambadeva, very few warriors took on her face to face. Nobody could dare to face her. Ambadeva lost all his men and reached his final stage, and a temporary break was announced in the war. At this crucial juncture, when Rudrama was sleeping in a tired state in her tent, all the rude and cruel soldiers led by Ambadeva killed Rudramadevi brutally against the rules and morals of the war. Ambadeva became a blot in the history by killing a great empress at the instigation of other kings to gain name and fame. The martyrdom of Rudrama and her bodyguard Mallikarjuna Nayaka came into light according to an inscription laid by Puvula Mummadi Nayaka at Chandupatla in 1289 AD. Rudramadevi occupies a special place among Kakatiya rulers. She had an elegant and charming face. People from distant places used to visit Warangal to have a look at her. This is evident when we go through the diary of Marco Polo, the great Venice traveler. Rudramadevi was a great empress, warrior, and nobody could match her fighting skills during the wars. Prataparudra ascended the throne of Warangal after Rudramadevi. He is also known as Prataparudra II. He ruled from 1289 to 1325 AD. He was the 17th and the last emperor among Kakatiya rulers. Rudramadevi had no sons. She had two daughters, namely Mummadamma and Ruyamma. Prataparudra was the son of Mummadamma, and Rudramadevi adopted her grandson and declared him as her successor. Prataparudra was crowned and became an emperor in 1289 AD according to Togarra inscription. Prataparudra strengthened his forces and forts immediately after coming to power. There was 9 lakh infantry, 20,000 cavalry and 100 elephants in his army. It was with this force that he could withstand 7 consecutive invasions from Muslim rulers. According to an inscription at Tumkuru in Karnataka, Prataparudra was praised as Navalaksha Dhanurdharadisha. The same inscription says that Prataparudra defeated Maharashtra, Kalinga, Saurashtra, Gujarat, Varaha, Karnataka, Dravida and Tamil kingdoms. The Kakatiya emperors, kings, military leaders and soldiers followed a typical war dance form before going to participate in the wars. This dance form is known as Perini dance. It was performed by Kakatiya forces to prepare and encourage the soldiers for the ensuing war and fill their heart and mind with bravery and heroic spirit so that they can prove their mettle and bring victories to their kingdoms. This kind of Perni war dance could be heard or read nowhere in the history of the world. This is exclusive to Kakatiya forces only. Prataparudra made this war dance a compulsory part of military training. At the time of Prataparudra's taking the reins of power, the Kakatiya kingdom was not stable. Kings like Ambadeva, Mahadeva of Devagiri, and Pandyan kings were creating troubles from behind the scene. At this crucial juncture, Prataparudra first decided to teach a lesson to Ambadeva. He thought that if a lesson is taught to Ambadeva, it will also become a lesson to others. He strategically divided his forces into 3 parts, keeping in mind that while punishing Ambadeva, the king of Devagiri and Pandyan kings will come to support and rescue Ambadeva. Prataparudra had meticulously planned a triangular attack simultaneously on Ambadeva and his supporters, namely Pandyans, Yadavas, and the kings of Devagiri. One part of his army was sent towards southern region to attack Pandyans, the second part towards north to attack Devagiri, and the third part was led by Prataparudra himself. Ammadeva's forces were completely defeated by Prataparudra in a war that took place near Pendekallu in 1291 AD. Ambadeva lost everything in the war. He could not withstand Prataparudra's fire of revenge and fled to Mulikinadu. Immediately, the forts under the control of Ambadeva were captured by Kakatiya forces. Ambadeva could not survive for a long time due to the severe wounds inflicted by Prataparudra and ultimately died in 1304 AD. On the other hand, the part of army that went towards the southern side to attack Pandyans surrounded Nellore, which was led by Adidamallu and Somayajula Rudraya. These forces defeated Manmakanda Gopala, supported by Ambadeva. Ultimately, Nellore had been regained by Kakatiyas. Further, the third part, which went into the northern direction to attack Devagiri, led by Gona Ganna Reddy, Vitalananda, and Manumaganda Gopala, surrounded Raichur in Devagiri. The king of Devagiri, Ramachandra Deva, would not face the Kakatiya forces and accepted defeat. In this way, the areas of Krishna and Tungabhadra were annexed to Kakatiya kingdom. Prataparudra's strategies had been successful because of his planning. Prataparudra had been planning like this to expand and strengthen his kingdom. The Delhi Sultans had an eye on the vast empire of Kakatiyas. At first, they occupied Devagiri fort and made Ramachandra Deva to work under them. Later on, their intention was to invade Warangal, which was flourishing with wealth and happiness. In 1303 AD, the Delhi Sultan Alauddin Khilji, under the leadership of Malik Fakhruddin, Juna and Jaju, sent a strong force to attack Warangal. These forces came to Warangal via Bengal with the sole intention of spreading their religious expansion of state and plunder the wealth of Warangal. Prataparudra came to know about this invasion through a strong network of spies. He had ordered to attack the Sultan's forces in Upparapalli near Huzurabad in Karimnagar district. Now we are watching the warfield of Upparapalli. The Delhi Sultans thought that defeating Kakatiya forces is a cakewalk for them